Alright, y'all, back to another one. Today, we got the NBA Mandela effects that will have you rethinking your entire existence. Before we get into the video, big shout out to Nutty and subscribe. Let's go ahead and check this out. Mandela. You know the Mandela effect. Seen so many times. Things you thought was
Today we're going to be hopping on Reddit and taking a look at some Mandela effects that you guys have personally experienced. Now I know what you guys are thinking, that's not how it works. You can't have a personal Mandela effect. A Mandela effect is when a large group of people remembers something differently than how it actually occurred. Otherwise it's just someone misremembering something if it's just one person. There were even people in the comments calling this out, frustrated that people were giving examples that didn't even fit the criteria of what a Mandela effect is. Like this person who said, "I'm reading all of these comments and they're interesting and all, but it just bugs me because the vast majority of them are not even Mandela effects." Well, that's kind of the point of this video, where you admitted that they're still interesting. For the sake of this video, let's just disregard the large group part and take a look at what people in the NBA community happen to be misremembering, whether you want to call them false memories, misconceptions, or even Mandela effect adjacent. At the end of the day, they are still shocking revelations that these people had that evoked the same feeling, basically. The feeling that you were living a lie this entire time. Before we begin, if you want to check out some legit ones, meaning the ones that a lot of people seem to falsely remember and that I always see people talking about, they can all be found in these videos, as I'm not going to go through them again. Okay, so we're gonna start off with some pretty basic ones first, that have to do with players' names. I can't tell you how many times I came across comments of people freaking out over the spelling of these names, swearing that they used to be spelled differently. I thought it was a pretty well-known fact that the way Dwayne Wade spells his first name isn't the traditional way, but apparently it took a while for some people to even notice it. And although I understand the frustration when it comes to the spelling of these names, I don't think it's anything worth losing sleep over. But when you find out that somebody is actually alive after thinking they were dead for a long time, has to be a trippy feeling. This comment gave me chills just reading it. Quote, "I had the weirdest trip where me and two of my best friends who have followed and talked about the NBA our whole lives all thought that Damon Stoudemire passed away in the mid to late 2000s. We all thought it happened at the same time range and from a car wreck." It's kind of crazy how he said his friends were all under that impression as well, making it even more eerie. And as I continued to scroll down, it didn't take me very long to encounter another comment similar to this, saying, "For whatever reason, I keep thinking Derek Coleman died." It's strange because obviously he's wrong. Same goes for the guy who thought Stoudemire was dead. At first, I thought to myself, how can you misremember something like that? But then I remembered the reason why the Mandela effect is even a thing in the first place. You see, this all started when paranormal researcher Fiona Broom swore that she saw news coverage and reports saying that Nelson Mandela died in prison all the way back in the 1980s, despite Mandela actually dying in 2013. Broom reported that hundreds of other people came forward saying that they share that same memory, and speculated that this could be evidence of parallel realities. And what makes this even creepier is the fact that there's a book called English Alive, published on October 1st, 1991, and in that book, there's apparently a quote claiming that Nelson Mandela died on the 23rd of July, 1991. And if you didn't know, putting false and misleading information in a book can result in you being sued. So why would the author even risk putting that in the book if it wasn't true? Suggesting even more that maybe he really did die a long time ago, longer than we think, just in an alternate universe. So this makes me wonder if there's pieces of evidence out there that support these memories. I mean, think about it. Something had to have made them think that. Were they just simply mistaken? I mean, obviously, a quick Google search will tell you that. Or did something happen in a parallel universe that caused them to have that memory? Next, we have 3 examples that all have to do with thinking that someone said something when in reality they didn't. A mistake that we see far too often. I saw this comment saying, "Tristan Thompson never actually said the East runs through Cleveland." After LeBron chose to go to the Lakers in free agency back in 2018, Tristan Thompson was still pretty confident in the Cavaliers and had no problem letting reporters know about it during practice one day, but never actually said those exact words like people think he did.
We're still four-time Eastern Conference champions. So until you take us down from that, teams ain't got much to say. Boston, Philly, they ain't got much to say. Boston had home court game 7, lost. Philly, you guys almost got swept. Toronto, we already know that story. So until someone takes us down, there's not much they can really say.
Maybe it was the way Marcus Morris responded that has something to do with it, making people think that he was quoting Thompson verbatim. Now in the replies to that comment, something else was said that caught my attention. Quote, same goes with Simmons and Young Socialite. You may remember when Ben Simmons got a lot of crap for supposedly saying that he didn't want to go to Toronto or Portland because he is a young socialite. But it looks like people just...
It had probably been a fake page or something. Maybe it was like one of them fake quotes. You know, people be doing something, use when fake pages they be trying to use something like he actually said that. So maybe everybody went with that's what they thought he said. Maybe they actually didn't see the video. Maybe they just seen a quote that probably said it runs through clip. That had to have been it.
Reporter said and made it seem like Simmons was the one who said it about himself.
He doesn't want to go through a bad situation. He's reading the tea leaves like everyone else. He sees Toronto, he sees Portland, and Ben, being, just to be frank, the young socialite he is, he's not really trying to go to any of those situations. He's open to the California teams. Is what I've been told.
This comment addresses another quote that people always seem to get wrong in terms of who it was about. Quote, the he shoots like Steph and he's big like Clay quote was about Nick Stauskas, not Buddy Hield. I see that quote come up in almost every thread about Buddy and it makes me want to pull my hair out. And this guy replied saying, yeah, why does this quote keep getting attributed to Buddy? Well, to answer his question, it's probably because when the Sacramento Kings traded DeMarcus Cousins to the Pelicans in exchange for Buddy Hield in 2017, the Kings owner Vivek Ranadive justified the move by saying that he thought Buddy Hield had Steph Curry potential, and for some reason people get it confused with another quote he had back in 2014. On the night the Kings drafted Nick Stauskas, it was then when Vivek tweeted this. So he did say that, but just not about Buddy, even though he did end up comparing Buddy to Steph Curry later on. Here's another person who pointed out something that's contrary to popular belief, that Mike Bibby was called for a foul after Kobe elbowed him in the face during the 2002 Western Conference Finals. Some people bring up this moment to support the argument that this series was clearly rigged, saying stuff like, LOL, and Kobe gets the free throws? Well, yeah, Kobe did go to the line after that, but not because they called a foul on Bibby. There's one small detail that can easily be overlooked if you're not paying close attention, which apparently a lot of people didn't, and don't know that Doug Christie was actually the one that was called for the foul.
Taking it to the rim, and it's a one-point game. So Ito Turkoglu is able to hit on the drive, and here's Christie on the foul once again. Kobe Bryant will go to the line. Kobe Bryant ran over Mike Bibby.
And hearing what Marv Albert said as Kobe went to the line definitely made it seem like Bibby was called for the foul instead of
I wonder how much things, I don't know. I'll be like, I wonder how many things probably be different. So many things would be different if they did what they had that review during that time. So many things they actually could have called back or something. They could have reversed. So maybe different teams, maybe in the playoffs. Maybe some teams that won the finals who probably won this game or that. Some of the calls they could have got.
Clarifying that Christie was the one that sent him to the line. Different. Take a listen.
A big break.
Look at the review. Oh my goodness. So many things. And the game changes things.
We'll go to the line. He's 9 for 9 from the line.
Now here's a comment that didn't exactly shake me to my core or anything, but that I still found pretty interesting. Vince Carter's through the legs dunk was not the final dunk, despite Kenny Smith declaring it's over.
This the finale on the first round for Vince Carter.
It's weird because you would think that it was over, especially with a reaction like that. But he actually performed 2 more dunks after that. Again, nothing groundbreaking, but it is a fact that some people might not have realized. Next, we have what seems like a pretty simple one, saying, I swear Tayshaun Prince has an all-star appearance.
I never thought that was... I don't think that was the last one. I think I just remember saying it just a whole... Because they be doing some commentary like that when somebody do a crazy dunk. This
Actually wasn't going to include this because I thought, well, there's nothing really to talk about here. I guess he was just wrong until I saw the replies down below, attempting to provide possible explanations, which we always welcome. The first one says, I could too, but that's mostly because I conflate him being in the All-Star game with that clip of 4 out of 5 Pistons checking into the All-Star game at the same time. And this is the clip that he's talking about that shows Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, and Chauncey Billups all coming into the All-Star game at the same time back in 2006. So I can see how you might misremember Tayshaun Prince being one of them and holding that belief for years until you find out that you were wrong. This guy chimed in saying he got selected for Team USA, so maybe that's where the wires got crossed, which I can definitely see being another reason why.
pretty cool, pretty cool. Some of them, I ain't really had no Mandela effect for some of these. I guess I wasn't really in tune to some of these things, or didn't really notice like maybe some other they seen for what they seen different. But hey, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all the next one.